So this is going to be a shorter video this week because I absolutely hate talking about my emotions, okay? Hello everyone, my name is Reginald and this is RegiCast. Today I'm going to share with you something I did not expect to feel as intensely as I did ever since I got diagnosed. And that feeling is blame. Angry, self-righteous blame. Now, I have never been a saint, and I have definitely experienced anger throughout my life, but after receiving diagnoses from two evaluations confirming my mental disorders, I started to feel as though people should just understand. And that has only led to things getting worse. So, in this video, I'm going to try and be a little bit more specific as to what I mean by that. My hope is that this video is especially meaningful for those of you that have been recently diagnosed or are considering getting evaluated for a diagnosis. Please do not go through what I'm going through. It is definitely not worth it, okay? So, without further ado, let's begin. I got diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, via an online assessment about a month ago. And I actually have shared my experience about that in the link above. I actually did go to a psychiatrist since then, about 2 weeks later, just to be safe, only to find out that I was diagnosed with not only ADHD, but two other mental disorders. So, needless to say, this has been one of the most intense months of my life. I handled it well at first, I think. I tried to use as much growth mindset as I could and think of how many solutions there were to any given disorder. And I was just thinking, okay, maybe it'll just take me a little bit of time to adjust to these new treatments. And I think that's still true. Now, I also figured that if I were to tell people what I was going through, then they would start to see just how much I was struggling with even the most basic of things in my personal, social, and professional life, and that they would kind of see how much I was trying in spite of all those struggles. Now, I think that was a mistake, not because of the people. I think actually people have been very kind and very helpful to me, but because I somehow started to expect an unconditional amount of emotional support and understanding from people, which is not realistic, right? And whenever people don't live up to unrealistic expectations, that leads to a lot of anger and a lot of blame, just to let you know. Within the past few weeks, I started to feel as though people just weren't taking my situation into account whenever they would give me feedback on my behavior or my results. And in those situations where I caused social problems, I started to interpret my behavior through the lens of at least one of my disorders and felt as though this was exactly what people should have expected and exactly what I should expect, especially given that I'm so new to learning how to deal with it. One by one, person after person, situation after situation, I seemed to be getting told repeatedly that everything I was doing was wrong. Out of desperation, I started to act way more intensely than usual, even for me, in order to prove to myself and to other people that I was trying or something like that. And that honestly only made things even worse. I started getting myself into situations I had no business getting myself into, all in an attempt to prove that I was trying to overcome all of this and I wasn't just letting this happen to me. Eventually, I hit what I guess you could call an emotional boiling point or something like that. Everyone and everything frustrated me. My disorders frustrated me because I saw them in all of my behavior and all of the problems I was causing. Even though it seemed to me as though it obviously wasn't my fault that I'm acting this way, no one seemed to listen, and I felt completely alone in seeing what I was seeing. So, what does someone do when they feel completely justified in their behavior, in their actions, in their situation, and yet it seems to be them that's causing all the problems? Honestly, I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't have a deep philosophical answer for you here. All I know is that my anger and my blame towards my disorders and towards other people is not helping me at all, right? So, as simple as this may sound, I'm trying to find ways to let go of those feelings without ignoring the genuine issues that I may have, right? I do know that things like self-control, impulsivity and other things like that are going to be way harder for me to manage than most people, and it may take me a long time to learn more appropriate responses to situations. But I also know that I do tend to catch myself eventually, right? And it may be that for now, those moments where I wake up and see what I'm doing or what I have been doing is the best place for me to start regaining that sense of control and autonomy over my own life. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure it out, and letting go of things like emotions is kind of a weird thing for me. I definitely have tried things like cognitive behavioral therapy, trying to change my thoughts and self-talk in situations, and that seems to be helping. As well as things like journaling and, quite frankly, talking to people that I can trust in order to release those angry blame emotions out of my system. So this might take me a while, but I'd much rather try this than go back to what I was feeling, I mean, not even a few days ago, right? So yeah, that's about it. If you're someone who's looking to get diagnosed or has recently gotten diagnosed, I would definitely caution you, please take a look at where you are emotionally prior to and after the diagnosis, right? If you have even a hint of kind of that justified blame in you, I would warn you, don't go down this path because it just does not end well. Okay. So, like I said at the beginning, I am not the most emotional person. I don't like emotions like that. But I would love to hear how you guys are handling things like this, right? So when it comes to things like anger and blame and things like that, how are you guys dealing with it, right? Definitely leave a comment. I'd love to get your perspective on things. And, as well as comments related to anything related to getting diagnosed, how's that experience been for you? So other than that, this was a short one. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.